Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the All Star Wrestling Review Series for the 2nd of May, 2000, not 2000. I wish wrestling was that good these days. But anyway, 2nd of May in the 1981 run here. And again, as we move through May, and most of 81 is available, a couple of exceptions, 2 or 3 missing episodes, and then move into, or actually, yeah, most of 81 is available. And then we move into 82. I think there's 8 or 10 episodes there. Then we're probably going to move to Mid Atlantic Wrestling, maybe ECW, trying to figure out what to do next. If you have a suggestion on what run to do next here, would love to connect with that. May 2nd, 1981 is where we're going next, though, so buckle up for that in the All Star Wrestling Series, and continuing our foray into that particular series. A lot of people are under knowledgeable, for lack of a better term, about this time in wrestling history. In as my computer kicks on and plays other audio in the background. My apologies for that. Anyway, so um, this is the 1981 run here, and we begin to kind of have the skeleton crew that begins to be the 82-83 expansion. Anyway, we move to Angelo Mosca with Captain Lou Albano defeating Steve King, 432 with a backbreaker across the knee. Mosca has been a major force in the last little while, last several weeks and months. Punch kick by Mosca there, and managing to do everything he possibly can to get things going his way. The backbreaker across the knee has been a major force for him in a lot of directives. In other words, that is to say, he has been using that backbreaker, either it be across the shoulder, across the knee, across the back, but the backbreaker, a major force for Mr. Mosca here. In 1981, Mosca is settling up to be a main challenger for the, I guess you'd say, the benefit of matches with Pedro Morales around the horn. At least that is Morales' request. As we move forward here, Steve King not exactly thrilled with his lot in life drawing Mosca. Mosca a little snugger than average. Mosca also being pressed as a major force. Albano is unhappy with people chanting ping pong and ding dong at Mosca, who is being called King Kong. And so punch kick, very basic offense, not exactly something to write home about if you are in the line for that. But at the same time, Mosca continuing to be a major force there. And ultimately, then we see the Captain, not Captain Lou Albano, but Classy Pretty Blasty bringing out George the Animal Steel. Steel is becoming a major force in the area as well. More punch kick, very basic stuff, nothing to write home about from Steel. Steel sends his man into the buckle a few times and tries to eat a buckle himself. The flying hammerlock is the main apparatus of winning for Steel here, and he gets by in a couple of minutes. Obviously, Steel is a guy who, does have decent matches with a guy like, for example, but not limited to Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund at the time. I think Steel probably brought back for Backlund, of course, coming in doing television there. Then a rare appearance, rare for an NWA guy and a Florida guy to be up in the WWF territory, but Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, here in 1981, a pretty involved fellow. Rhodes carrying on into his foray into the area. Of course, he'd been here in 78, 79, something along those lines. Beating Pete Mitchell in 202 with the um, bionic elbow drop after the bout. McMahon interviews Rhodes. Rhodes basically says that he is wanting to get a hold of Ping Pong. Also, wouldn't mind a shot at Bob Backlund if the opportunity presented itself. But Dusty Rhodes, obviously, punch, kick, and the bionic elbow gets him a win in just over 2 minutes. Still don't understand what the point is, no matter what the era, of getting a guy dressed for under 2 minutes. Then we see, or under, to me, under 4 minutes is where it gets goofy. Anyway, Slaughter with the Grand Wizard defeating Jerry Johnson with the submission Cobra Clutch 5-10. Slaughter getting a longer match than Rhodes probably would tick some off, would thrill others, but anyhow, kind of going in the direction of Slaughter still being seen as a guy who has a lot of challenges and challengers and people that really matter to Sergeant Slaughter. And of course, Slaughter getting mocked as the Gomer Pyle, kind of stalling outside the ring, not wanting to get in there as he is being mocked and made fun of, and all of those annoying, at least to him, things. And ultimately, Slaughter covers the ears after being complained about. The Grand Wizard on the outside also trying to stop the crowd from their, what they consider to be senseless and unkind chanting. Anyway, so Slaughter hits the knee to the midsection, otherwise known as the kitchen sink in modern wrestling, and applies the Cobra Clutch not once but twice, once to win the match and once after the contest. Then we go to former tag team champions Rick Martel and Tony Garea. Martel and Garea are in a position of semi-authority here, being former champions, basically, kind of looking for an opportunity to get the belts back, and manages to do some of that. And again, their opponents here, the returning Baron Mikel Cicluna and the tag team partner. And again, Cicluna taking Garea down for quite a bit, arm bars, and Armholes tries to cinch up on the nature of a thing there. Now, Chris Kanyon, who later becomes King Kong Bundy, actually in the same year, probably within a couple of months after doing these TV enhancement opportunities, getting some exposure, is Bundy here. Not exactly a shining light for him, but he comes back. And think about this, less than 4 years later, he's back. And in WrestleMania 1, less than 5 years later, he is main eventing WrestleMania 2 with Hulk Hogan. And gone from the national scene for a while in 1988. So it's just an interesting run there. Garea takes the majority of punishment. Garea is doing all he can in terms of not ending up on the mat more permanently, but not exactly going well for him in that regard. And so we kind of see Baron Mikel Cicluna fighting from underneath. Odd that's not Cicluna fighting from underneath, but Garea fighting from underneath. Martel comes in with Chris Champion, aka King Kong, or Chris Kanyon, aka King Kong Bundy. Bundy wearing all purple tights, just a weird run there, and we see kind of that go behind several run, but the former tag team champions obviously get the victory here, and then we close the program with a Don the Rock Morocco enhancement match here. And obviously Morocco, not exactly Intercontinental Championship level yet, but that's where they're taking him. They're have been and continue to be pushing him pretty heavily. Grand Wizard with him. He defeats Terry Gunn submission 314 with the Adriatic Spike, punch kick, and basic stuff. Morocco with a couple of body slams and eventually manages to get that spike in, the spike over. I did not realize my exposure to the spike was in fact Terry Gordy. So up until this point of actually doing these reviews, was not as aware that this was a an issue here. Then we continue to go through and get things going, and Morocco gets the victory. We'll be back with more right after this.